Okay, students, welcome to my video class. So today I am continuing with the medical terminology. So let's again begin with the medical terminologies. Okay. So now next we will take motor aphasia. Okay. Motor aphasia. Motor aphasia is nothing but here the patient is not able to put his thoughts into words. Okay, so because of non-functioning of motor area of the cerebrum, he is not able. Patient is not able. Here, patient is not able to put his thoughts into words. So when patient is not able to put his thoughts into words, it is known as a motor aphasia. It happens because of due to motor area non-functioning. Okay. So next we will see sensory aphasia. Sensory aphasia. In this sensory aphasia, patient is not able to understand or comprehend what other speaks. Okay. So patient is unable to. Okay. Patient is unable to understand what other speaks. Okay, so patient is completely not able to understand what other speaks. Okay, here it is because of sensory area non-function. Okay, so here what happens, due to some stroke or increased intracranial pressure, when sensory area of the cerebrum is not properly functioning, patient is unable to understand what other speaks. Okay, so that condition is known as aphasia. We can see this sensory and motor aphasia in case of stroke, okay, or cerebrovascular accident. Next one is nominal aphasia. Nominal aphasia. Nominal aphasia means here patient is able to describe everything about an object or any things but not able to name it. Okay, patient is unable to name the things. Okay, unable to name the things. See, for example, the patient may describe everything about this pen, that it gives a green color, it has a cap. Okay, everything he can describe about the pen but not able to say that it is a pen. Okay, not able to name it. So this is known as nominal aphasia. Okay, so in the nominal aphasia, patient is unable to name the things. Okay, name the things, unable to name the things or unable to name a person. Okay, so that is known as nominal aphasia. However, the patient is able to describe everything about the things or the person but not able to name the person or the things. That is a nominal aphasia. Next one is dyslexia. Dyslexia means what? Difficulty in reading. Okay, so dyslexia means difficulty in reading. So this is a learning disorder where the person or the child or person is unable to read. Okay, not able to read properly. They are saying there is a jumping of words in the notebook and not able to read properly. So when a patient is unable to read properly, it is known as dyslexia. Next one is dysgraphia. Next one is dysgraphia. Dysgraphia means patient is unable to write. Okay, it is a condition where patient is unable to write. It is a writing disorder. Okay, unable to write. So it is a writing disorder where patient is unable to write. Okay, there is no proper writing skills in the. Okay, so that is known as dysgraphia. Next one is dyscalculia. Dyscalculia means here the patient is unable to do unable to do mathematical calculations. Here patient is unable to do mathematical calculation. So when patient is unable to do mathematical calculation, it is known as dyscalculia. Okay. Next, tachypnea. See, when patient respiration rate, if it is goes above 30 breathe per minute. Okay. So when patient respiration rate goes above 30 breathe per minute, it is known as a tachypnea. Next one is bradypnea. When patient respiration rate goes below 10 breath per minute, it is known as a bradypnea. Okay. Next one is hypoxia. See, when we check the blood oxygen saturation, okay, when the oxygen saturation of patient is low, it is known as a hypoxia. Okay, for example, when you do ABG of the patient and when you see the partial pressure of oxygen, so normal partial pressure of oxygen is 80 to 100 mmHg. Okay, if patient partial pressure of oxygen comes below 80 mmHg, it is known as a hypoxia. Okay, or else another reading is there, we can see the patient SpO2 is a oxygen saturation measured by the pulse oximetry. Okay, normal it is a 95 to 100%. See, when oxygen saturation SpO2, if it is below 95%, it is known as a hypoxia. Okay, so hypoxia is nothing but a decreased oxygen saturation in the blood. Okay, how we can say that one? When we check the ABG of the ABG of the patient, if partial pressure of oxygen is less than 80 mmHg, it is known as hypoxia. And or else you can say, when you do the SpO2, when you check the SpO2 of the patient, that is the oxygen saturation measured by the pulse oximetry, that is normally is that 95 to 100. If it comes below 95%, then it is known as a hypoxia. Okay. What is hypoxia? Hypoxia is decreased. Okay, you can say decreased oxygen concentration in the blood. Okay, in the blood. So I have already told that is PO2 less than 80 mmHg or SpO2 less than 95%. So it is known as hypoxia. Next one is hypercapnia. When carbon dioxide, when you check the ABG of the patient, and if the partial pressure of carbon dioxide, normally partial pressure of carbon dioxide is 35 to 45 mmHg. Okay, so when partial pressure of carbon dioxide, if it is goes above 45 mmHg, it is known as a hypercapnia. Okay, so what is hypercapnia? It is increased oxygen, it is increased carbon dioxide level in the blood, that is PCO2, that is PCO2 level is more than 45 mmHg. When PCO2 level goes beyond 45 mmHg, it is known as hypercapnia. Next one, hyperkalemia. So what is hyperkalemia? So before you can understand what is a hyperkalemia, okay, so you should know serum potassium level. Okay, normal serum potassium level is 3.5 to 5.1 milli equivalent per liter. Okay, see what is hyperkalemia now then. If serum potassium level, okay, if serum potassium level goes above 5.5 milli equivalent per liter, it is known as a hyperkalemia. Okay, so what is hyperkalemia? If serum potassium, okay, if serum potassium goes above 5.5 milli equivalent per liter, it is known as a hyperkalemia. Okay, next hypokalemia. Hypokalemia, I have already told you normal serum potassium level is 3.5 to 5.1 milli equivalent per liter. Okay, see if serum potassium level goes below, okay, if it is goes below 3 milli equivalent per liter, it is known as hypokalemia. When serum potassium level goes below 3 milli equivalent per liter, it is known as a hypokalemia. Next one is hypernatremia. Hypernatremia, see normal serum sodium level is 133 to 146 milli equivalent per liter. When serum sodium level, okay, if it is goes above 150 milli equivalent per liter, it is known as a hyperkalemia. Hypernatremia. See what is hypernatremia? Hypernatremia is nothing but when serum sodium level goes above 150 milli equivalent per liter, it is known as a hypernatremia. Okay, next what is hyponatremia? Hyponatremia, see already I have told you serum sodium level, okay, serum sodium level is 133 to 146 milli equivalent per liter. See when serum sodium level goes below, okay, its level goes below 130 milli equivalent per liter, it is known as a hyponatremia. See when serum sodium level goes below 130 milli equivalent per liter, it is known as a hyponatremia. Next one is hyperglycemia. See normal serum glucose level, blood glucose level is how much it is? It is 70 to 140 mg per dl. Okay, 70 to 140 mg per dl. So if serum glucose level if it is more than 140 mg per dl, it is known as a hyperglycemia. Okay, see what is hyperglycemia? When serum blood glucose level or when serum blood sugar level goes beyond above the level of 140 mg per dl, it is known as a hyperglycemia. Next, what is hypoglycemia? Hypoglycemia, I have already told you serum glucose level, normal serum glucose level is 70 to 140 mg per dl. See when serum glucose level, if it is less than 60 mg per dl, it is known as a hypoglycemia. Okay, so when serum blood glucose level, glucose level, if it is less than 60 mg per dl, it is known as a hypoglycemia. Okay, so these were the some of the more terminology which you were needed to understand. Okay, so this is the terminology part 2. So again, so many terminology are there that I will discuss in the upcoming videos. Okay, so if you like this video, please share this video and subscribe. Okay, make sure that you will subscribe to this channel and share to many of your friends, so that they can also able to crack the examinations. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you for watching the video.